Hi, everybody. This is Real Talk with Miss Wendy, and I have 5 tips that are going to help you be successful while you're in cosmetology school. Let me just preface by saying I have been an instructor for 12 years. I have been a licensed hairstylist for almost 30, and I went to a private academy. And at that private academy, I was the most grade A anal retentive student you would find. Why? Because I was paying for my education. I could not afford to get this education and not be able to go behind the chair the day after I graduated. Back then, as long as you were scheduled for your test, you could go ahead and work in a salon. That's changed since then, but neither here nor there. I wanted to know absolutely everything. I probably drove my instructors crazy, and that's okay that you do that as well. It is your education that you're paying for. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the things that you can do to be successful while you're in beauty school. So the first one is going to be attendance, right? I know that the instructors are riding your behind about getting to school on time. I understand the concept of, hold on, I'm paying for this education. I should be able to come and go as I please. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. You are in an institution. An institution must have rules, guidelines that need to be followed so that everybody can be successful, right? Because it's not just about you. It's about the student next door to you. It's about your friend over there in the corner, right? Everybody needs to have the same respect. Therefore, everybody should be attending as they are required by their handbook. Every school is a little bit different. Most of the schools I worked at had a 75% attendance you had to stay at. And that's very liberal. Like that's 8-10 hours every week that you can miss and still be within your bounds of 75%. But if you want to be the student that is successful, if you want to be the person that gets behind the chair the day after you graduate, then I highly, highly recommend that you don't miss any time, that you don't come in late, that you are the first one to get in the door, that you are clocking in as soon as you walk in and you're getting your time and you're making good use of that time. Because what good does it do if you come in and for 8 hours you sit in the back on your phone studying? You know, it's not conducive to being successful behind the chair, because a lot of students will think, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, or when I become a stylist, I will behave better. This is the time to practice that behavior now so that when you graduate, it's second nature. You don't even consider it. Should I go to work on time? Should I show up for that appointment? Do I want to go to the beach instead, right? Those are questions that you're going to ask yourself all the time. So attendance is very, very vital to your success. So don't be the person that shows up late. Don't be the person that doesn't come in. Be the one who's there first. Be the anal retentive student that says, by golly, I'm going to get my education because I'm paying for it. Okay. Number 2, you need a study buddy. Studying for your state boards, studying for your chapter tests, studying for your final is not easy. So if you have a study buddy, that's going to help you through each one of those chapters a heck of a lot better than if you're trying to do it by yourself. A lot of times cosmetology students think, oh, it's hair school. Why do I need to study? I'll just take my test, and most schools are going to let you take it over and over and over again until you get a pass score. Great. What did you learn? Because the whole idea of being in hair school is to learn everything you possibly can so that you can wear any hat that you want to when you graduate. You may say, I want to specialize in highlighting when I graduate. And 2 years after you're done with hair school, all of a sudden you're the hair color specialist, or you're the hair cutting specialist. And you didn't know your life was going to take that route, but that's just how it kind of fell in. And instead of fighting it, embracing it, don't be scared. And the only way you're going to be scared is if you didn't pay attention in hair school and now you got all this hair catch up to do. So that's something that I think that you should take into consideration is the study buddy. Find someone, and if your theory is on, say, Tuesday, sit down and study on Tuesday day or Tuesday night before class so that you can pass your tests, so that you can go over the information, so that you understand the why, right? Because it's one thing to know how to do something. It's another thing to know how to understand why you're doing that particular task. Okay. So number 3, take the client. I understand that you've done Betty's roller set 14 times since you've been in school. Take the client. Why? Because the conversation may be different. What you do may be different. She may have had surgery, started new medications, had an emotional, stressful week. You never know. It's a different experience. It may be the same head, it may be the same hair, but it's a new experience every time. You're not just learning how to do haircuts and how to do color. You're learning how to handle people, right? You're learning how to handle personalities. You're learning what to say, what not to say, how to handle a situation, and how to learn from it. So take the client. Be the student that says, I'll take her. I will take her. I know she's a pain in the ass. I'm going to take her anyways. When I was in hair school, I took all the clients I could possibly take. Even Raquel, the client that nobody wanted, the client that made the students cry. I was a little tougher than some other ones. I was a little bit older, so I wasn't going to be bothered by what Raquel had to say because I needed to learn from her head. I needed to learn from her personality, right? So take the client. Number 4, build your clientele on purpose. So many students think, oh, I'll just use social media and I'll build my clientele, right? What if you didn't have social media? What if you had to build your clientele by going out and walking the streets and picking up clients, by going to the club, going to the bar, going to church, going to the grocery store, going to the park, and talking to people? You can't just make a post on social media and think that you're going to build your clientele. You got to build the clientele while you're in hair school and be very particular about that, right? Lean on your family, lean on your friends, go and build the new clientele, get them in the chair while you're learning so that they know how far you've grown, and that client will stick with you for life. You build a clientele while you're in hair school, those are your clients to keep forever. They will be very loyal to you. So my recommendation for you is to build the clientele right away. Don't just take the clients that walk in the door at school. Some schools don't have a large clientele, and you've got to bring in your own people. You are going to learn 10 times more by doing a partial highlight on your client than you ever would on a mannequin. Can you get the credit? Sure. You'll get the service, the little check off, right? You get the signature by the instructor, but that doesn't mean that you actually learned anything new. You repeated the same information over and over again because you're doing it on a mannequin, right? So build the clientele on purpose. My last one that I want to tell you is to keep a positive attitude. Going through hair school, cosmetology school is not easy. If it was easy to be successful, everybody would do it, right? You are up against a very strong industry. Not only with how you handle yourself, how you handle your clients, how you handle your coworkers, you've got to keep a positive attitude. So if you're having a bad day, leave that crap at the door. It is not anybody's business on what kind of day you're having. What is their business? What are you doing with my hair? What are you going to do with my style? How are you going to shampoo me effectively? Those are the things that your client is worried about. Those are the things that you need to have a positive attitude while you're doing them. So leave it at the door. Don't bring it in. It's nobody else's business, and keep a positive attitude. So those are my little takes on how to be successful while you're in cosmetology school. I also have another series that I do that's called Chapter Check-ins, where I literally will go over a test that Milady offers for every single chapter, and I will give you the answers to that test. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have discussions about those answers. Are you guaranteed to get those on your test? No, but it's going to put your brain in the right direction to be successful while you take your test. So if you're interested, you can check out that series called Chapter Check-ins. I'm working through all of the tests. I still have a ways to go, but stay tuned. Also, if you thought this helped you, please like, follow, and save. They're going to help me tremendously, as well as help other students find me so that they too can be a little bit more successful while they're in school. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you next time.